Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Forged Irish Stout, Empire Fight Store. We're here. Gareth A. Davies. Gareth, we normally catch up on a Monday. Sadly, I was on a long connection flight back from Vegas, but we're back. How's things with you, pal?
I'm very well, pal. Very well indeed, lifesaver. Yeah, if I can use pal this beautiful sunny morning.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday morning, indeed. Is my volume okay, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. I've got the old today because people have been complaining. People I work with. No, all is well, thank you. Just been very busy this week, working on a documentary with DAZN, which I'm really looking forward to see on the 5v5, Warren versus Hearn. Great interviews yesterday with Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield.
Oh, wow.
Which are very enjoyable. Yeah, I did a bit of bare knuckle last weekend. Bare knuckle event for the first time and absolutely loved it. Indigo at the O2.
What was that like? Something different, isn't it?
Very different, but also there were quite a lot of old friends there. George Hilliard, Dominic Negus, a guy called Bradley Scott from the UFC was on there as well. I found it fascinating. I've got to be honest with you. I found it fascinating, and I was there from the Friday night as a guest. I was working on the broadcast. I did half the fights on comms.
Nice.
And I really enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the stories. I enjoyed the courage and the ancient art, brutal as it is, of bare knuckle boxing. So yesterday, weirdly, bare knuckle boxing, the British bare knuckle boxing run by Jim Freeman and Joe, I were subsumed into BYB in America, this big company. So they were cock a hoot yesterday. But I'm just glad I got involved in it on Saturday. And as I just said, it was very different. And I was really surprised how much I enjoyed it. And I was working alongside Tom Ross was on commentary, there's OG and also Robin Reed. So it's great catch up with Robin as well. So it's been a busy few days. And obviously, I've got stacks of clothes out there. My housekeeper's coming shortly. I'm getting ready for the trip to Riyadh on Sunday, and it's really coming into focus now. And I'm very excited about it. Usyk versus Fury, Fury versus Usyk.
Let's just start there. It's obviously on one of my lists of things to do. We've been talking about it for a while, the delay, everything else, but we're here. You know, less than, I don't know when you fly out. I think I'm going Sunday.
As I said, Sunday, yeah.
Sunday, but it's here. It's round the corner. The first heavyweight undisputed fight for, I think, 24 years plus. I think I've read correct.
25 years, yeah.
Excited now. Now it's getting closer. That anticipation for the fight. We're going to witness history.
Oh yeah, very much so. But also starting to amass the stories I'm writing while I'm out there, and I've got my schedule. TalkSport is going to be out there. Me and Spencer are doing podcasts out there. Spencer Oliver. I'm just starting to get, just starting to debate it with people. Getting people's views on who's going to win and why and how. Lewis and Holyfield was interesting yesterday. It's just I'm just praying nothing goes wrong in the next week, because I think it would be catastrophic if those two guys don't step into the ring a week on Saturday night, May the 18th. And I think there's a kind of feeling that I love the fact so many people are backing Usyk as well. I mean, I think Fury is the number one in the world. I'm on record as picking a controversial draw in the fight. I think they'll nullify each other. I think it'll be tight, cagey, and go 12 rounds. I really like both men so much. And quote my old friend Michael Buffer, who I've been chatting to in the last couple of days as well. You kind of don't want anyone to win or anyone to lose in this. That's how I feel, because I don't love them, but I like both men so much.
I was going to say, well, you've had obviously you know Oleksandr and like the history and everything he's done, but obviously you've had a long time relationship with the Furies, and you've you've been part of that circle on the comeback and way back when, like before the Klitschko stuff and things like that. So you've had a long sort of time affinity with both of the fighters.
Yeah, 16 years around Tyson Fury. I was there at his debut in Nottingham when Tyson Fury, when Carl Froch fought Jean Pascal in Nottingham, in an amazing night. And Fury made his debut with his curly ringlets at the time.
Yeah.
This tall, gangly thing, coached by the Egan brothers, or Steve Egan. Yeah, it's been a long journey through thin and thinner and thick and thicker. I'm very, very pleased for Tyson Fury that he sits where he does, both with his standing in world boxing and also as a mental health advocate, how he's done professionally, how he's reached out into the mainstream, how he's matured as a person. You know, the Fury family will always be, I don't want to say a soap opera, but they're like a soap opera. I mean, the Netflix series is like watching a soap opera. I mean, it really is. I mean, it could be I mean, it is like reality. It's like watching reality TV, but it's on a Netflix series. So, but it's just, this is the culmination. For me, he has to put the cloak of invincibility on 2 more times. Once against Usyk to beat him, and once against Joshua, and he's completed the era for me. And I feel that he needs to do that. And he may not agree with me. His family may not agree with me. Spencer Brown may not agree with me, but I feel he's got to do it.
If he beats Usyk twice and in convincing manner, do you feel he needs the Joshua fight to say he is the best of this era?
Absolutely. Absolutely. To go down in the pantheon of greats. He might say legacy doesn't matter to him, but it will in 25 years' time, as it does to Holyfield and as it does to Lewis right now. And when I hear Holyfield telling me that, man, I didn't choose the judges for that second fight, even though I felt like I won the second fight against Lewis. He's still thinking about it 25 years later. So, and also, if you hear what or read what His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh's been saying in the last week, it looks like they are looking to do Usyk Fury 2 in November. And then the winner of that, or the winner of those, against Joshua in March next year. That's the plan. It's always been the plan. And it's a great plan. And in the meantime, we might get Joshua against Hrgovic and Joshua against Deontay Wilder, let's say.
Yeah, I think the plan looks great. I think every time there's something else comes out, you just get more and more excited about what could happen. And we should enjoy it while it's here. Let's just be clear, because
let's enjoy everything while we're here, by 100%. The way.
100%. 100%. I need to come on to this Ryan Garcia stuff. So
yeah, go on.
This is what's been dominating Twitter.
That's a soap opera.
Oh, tell me about it. I was out in Vegas and that came out.
I saw you. I watched all your stuff, Matt. It was very, very good. It's very good. I liked your interventions of people, and I liked your chats with Canelo after his row with Oscar. Oh, to ask me it all, yeah.
Yeah, no, you know what? It was good fun, and over there, you know, Canelo. I tell you what, Canelo's English is just like it's a joy. You know, when you speak to someone and the way he presents his arguments and stuff, he was brilliant. But in terms of the Garcia stuff, so over there, there's a big mixed bag. You've Gervonta Davis, who's there, who's clearly does not like Devin Haney at all, and he's very much on the side of. I'm a bit surprised with these results came out, and then they've waited till Canelo fight week. It's all he feels. I think he's on the side more of that. There's a bit of a shadiness going on in the background with everything. But then when you speak to other people, they're very much on the side of, look, at the end of the day, he has failed the test, and these are facts that have come out.
Yeah.
One thing that came out yesterday was that at the time, I think they believed there may have been a second substance, but that's now been cleared. So it's still, they're waiting for the B sample for Osterine, which I believe comes back on the 22nd.
That's right.
What do you make of this whole saga and the arguments that are being presented for, oh, I'm innocent and all this kind of stuff?
Well, first of all, I've always gotten incredibly well with Ryan Garcia, and I've loved the interviews I've had with him. I really like the kid. I've got a lot going for him, and I think I was fair about him in the build-up. In terms of let him ride, he's in a certain way. He's bolted himself onto his maverick genius, but maverick lunacy as well. It was an amazing performance. The triumphalism of that came down with dollops of bathos when we heard that he tested positive 11 days after the event. First of all, why should it take so long? I don't understand. That seems a travesty to me, to the sport, and to the event itself. What's the point of, well, there is a point of testing on the day of and the day before the test, because these kind of things come up. Strict liability needs to prove why the Austrian was there. I've heard the conspiracy theories that someone has doped something that he's drunk, or put something in his system, and that is possible. I think the fact he's been out there and very vocal and very public in that fight week with Canelo Munguia, I think stands him in good stead in lots of ways, and it made him more believable that he has not cheated.
Yeah.
And I respect him for that, and being out there and not being frightened, not hiding away, and wanting to prove his innocence and asking for the B sample and all those things. Unfortunately for him, it was clearly in his system, according to the test. The B test, we'll see when the B sample will come back. As you know, it's the same as the A sample. It's a sample cut in half. I need to look this up, but I don't recall a B sample being different to an A sample in recent years anyway.
No.
So I imagine the same thing's going to come back. It's not a good scenario. It's very serious. You know, he beat Devin Haney up. What do I? You know, it again. It's the worst part of the sport. I mean, irreparable injuries, people being killed in the ring, and drugs are the worst three things about the sport. But you know, forget about all the smoke and mirrors and fights not being made and arguments and attrition.
100%.
You know, drug taking is heinous, especially when you're using your body as your weapon. So I don't know what more to say. I mean, look, at the moment he's got a drug in his system. They're screaming blue murder from his side that it's a fit-up job, but they have to prove that, I'm afraid, and that's where we are.
This is one of these where you'd rarely see a fighter, I think, get so much grace for doing what he did in a build-up, winning the way he did, missing weight, and even yourself, everyone else. I spoke to a lot of people, said, no, look, can't take anything away from the win, and you get to that point and you're like, you know what, he's pulled the blinder here, and then you hear that result and it's like, oh. Especially when you look at how the fight played out in terms of the sort of brutality of the fight, Devin getting knocked down all them times. You look and just think, you know what, you know, this could have been like life altering for Devin, kind of thing.
Oh, totally. It makes it heinous. It makes it heinous. I mean, Devin, above all things now, will want the result annulled, which the New York State Athletic Commission can do. And he will want punishment, and the result annulled and punishment to Ryan Garcia. Likelihood is, given how famous he is as a fighter, what really should happen is he should have a big punishment. But what will probably happen is he won't have a big punishment. It might be a year ban, or it might be a 6-month ban, or they might be able to prove something. Other fighters have proved things in the past, but like you say, I mean, that if he has taken Austrian and it is a case of cheating, he's erratically altered the psyche of Devin Haney, because Devin looked a beaten man in that fight. I think you were there as well, weren't you?
I weren't there. Lewis was there, but I was watching.
Oh, Lewis was there. Well, that's right.
It's just like,
it's a very bad scenario, and we have to wait the outcome of the investigation now.
Just quickly, one disappointing thing. Bivol Beterbiev was so close. It's getting rearranged, so we will see. But disappointing, you know, that was sort of the top of the 5x5 bill. Everyone was buzzing about it, but look, on we go. The show goes on. We still get to see.
Yes, it does. But my theory on it when it happened was, my first thought was, right, Frank, get in touch with Anthony Yarde, get him back on the books, and let's have Yarde versus Bivol, and we've got 6v6. Do you like that?
I said that to a friend. I messaged going, if Yarde and think he can sort this out now, we see a fight.
Yeah, but because Bivol and Yarde would have been a good fight as well, really good fight. So obviously it wasn't in the plans, it wasn't in the works, and you just wonder whether Anthony Yarde might look back and regret what's happened in the last few weeks. You know, love him as we all do. I don't understand the moving away from Frank Warren. Obviously, it might have been something that Boxer have been involved in because they want that fight on Sky or whatever it is. I don't know. But I don't know, by the way. So
yeah,
but that's logically what may have happened.
I think one thing to say is on that before I let you go is when you look at these fighters, and we don't know, we know what we know, but we don't always know sometimes what's going on in the background. But from the outside looking in, you would say Anthony Yarde's had incredible opportunity, has been promoted extremely well from the outside looking in. He's been kept busy when fights have fallen through, you know, even with opponents that people are like, you know, don't really want to see, but they kept him busy. Hopefully this can get resolved because if you chuck him in the mix with some of these, it's a great time for that division.
Completely right. I couldn't have said it better myself. And it just saddens me that the relationship between promoter Frank Warren and Anthony Yarde has not reached its full potential. What I do want to say, going back to Canelo week, was well done, Oscar De La Hoya, for pumping up the event with his comments. And I also, you mentioned Canelo and him speaking English now. Obviously, you know I speak Spanish, so I spoke in Spanish to him for years.
Yeah.
And it's been great to see him develop and learn English. Very, very important thing.
It makes him just hilarious though when he's going at Oscar. He was insulting him in Spanish, sits down and then throws the English at him, and it's like
he was really insulting him in Spanish. By the way,
no, we had it translated. It was bad.
Yeah, no. They didn't translate it fully at the time. He was really going at him. His sexuality, everything. But I thought Canelo, as I saw it, if the fight went as I saw it, that his greater experience won him the fight. He's a brilliant championship fighter. And you haven't asked me about Naoya Inoue, which I had delights watching on Bank Holiday Monday here with my father and my son-in-law, if you like, with 3 generations of us all shouting at the TV, shocked when Naoya Inoue went down in the first round, but him proving for me that he is so incredible. He's the monster for a reason. He and Terence Crawford, the only 2 fighters to be undisputed in 2 weight classes. Could be Usyk, the third one, if he beats Tyson Fury. But I thought he was brilliant. And for me, Matt, he goes to the top of the pound for pound list.
In terms of weights, because he was on there, but I'm conscious of time and what you said about how long you've got. In terms of Inoue, people keep talking about, we'd love to see him bounce up a couple of divisions. And I see people on Twitter going, there's weight classes.
Thank Davis.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about that, even as wild as it sounds, just the thought of that is like, take my money.
Well, I mean, it's comparative. You can make the comparison that Manny Pacquiao came up from, literally flyweight and fought Antonio Margarito at light middleweight.
Yeah.
And won, by the way. But yeah, exactly. And that's the equivalent here. Obviously, I think the monster started at light fly, didn't he? And then he came up from light fly. Look, he could fight Gervonta. That's an amazing fight. But as Gervonta said, that is really an amazing fight. That's a super, super fight. But as Gervonta said, I'm not sure that's on my radar, that fight, but it's a real challenge for Inoue. But if His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh suddenly thinks, you know what, let's make a giant fight in Japan with 150,000 people there, or let's bring them to the Riyadh season and make Gervonta Davis and Naoya Inoue, it will happen.
Gervonta Davis, Frank Martin, spicy press conference. He was
it will, but Gervonta's a level above these guys, I'm afraid. You can't write anyone off, but I do think he's absolutely brilliant, Matt. And I want to see, he's clearly looking for that rematch with Ryan Garcia now as well, by the way.
Yeah, he was hinting it throughout the week.
And clearly not trusting Eddie Hearn to come and fight Conor Benn. No, all the drama was all the storylines were great, very tabloid, very red top, very enjoyable. But next week is obviously there's 7 or 8 fights on the card. But next week for me is the big one. really big one we've waited for a long, long time, 25 years to be exact.
100%. Look, I can't wait to be there and obviously to witness history. It's another undisputed fight chalked off for the books. Look, Gareth, we'll catch up out there, fingers crossed. Appreciate you jumping on at short notice, and we'll catch up again soon.
Cheers, Matthew. See you out there, lifesaver.